Welcome to Marketing with Confidence. I'm your host, Marianne Amies. We're going to be talking all things digital and online marketing for business owners and marketing professionals. If you've been feeling overwhelmed by your digital marketing, be sure to listen along and you'll hear tips, interviews and more that will give you the confidence to create marketing you love. Welcome back to another episode of Marketing with Confidence. Today's episode wraps up the 2023 episodes of Marketing with Confidence. It's been a fantastic year, and I'm so excited to have so many listeners that follow along loyally each week. I hope you've enjoyed listening to different episodes of the podcast, and I'd love to hear your feedback of what you'd like to see more of in the new year. Today, I'm going to be talking about wrapping up your marketing year. As the weeks start to roll down to the end of December, I don't know about you, but I'm definitely in wrap-up mode. I get that sort of eye on the prize of the finish line, and I just want to do everything and tick all the boxes to get ready to relax. I think it's a wonderful time of year because it's one of the few times of year where everybody is having a break at the same time. And I think there's sort of a bit of a respect that happens during the Christmas break where, you know, you're not likely to get as many of those urgent questions or somebody needing help. There's an understanding from most people that we're all kind of taking some time out. I find when I holiday in the middle of the year, you know, it's business as usual for my clients. So I expect to have a few conversations, you know, keep a few balls rolling and whatnot. But I do find that the December holidays are just such a lovely time to unplug. And, you know, before you lead into that, it's a great time to try wrap up your marketing year. And today I'm going to talk to you about reviewing, reflecting, resting, and regrouping. And they're really my strategies for wrapping up the marketing year and preparing yourself for the new year ahead without sort of going into heavy planning mode just yet. So to kick off, what I suggest you start with is the review. So reviewing what happened. Now, this is about looking at the data, and I know, you know, I love data. It's not for everybody, but having a base look at your data, getting a little bit familiar with what's happening is going to help you to make some notes and really think about what happened this year, what went well. So, a great place to start is your Google Analytics. Now, if you have migrated to GA4, you will have to look at the first 6 months in your Universal Analytics and the second 6 months in your GA4, and you won't exactly be able to look at like-for-like data like we used to be able to, but, you know, definitely have a look at your, you know, the traffic to your website, the key traffic sources to your website, and looking at that maybe month on month just gives you a feel of, you know, what happened, what caused people to come to your website, more in September, or, you know, why did you have a really strong social push through, you know, June to August? Was it something you were doing, or was it a seasonality influence? So really having a look at that data and starting to make some notes about what it might mean. You know, has your website traffic decreased consistently over the year? Because that's a real, warning sign or a real flag of action that you can then put into your 2024 planning of what you're going to do. And again, looking at that by sources, we can go, is it organic that's down? Okay, I might need to focus on some SEO next year. Or is it is all my traffic coming from paid? What am I going to do in the new year to counteract that? Maybe some collaborations, or maybe, really lean into my email marketing. So using that Google data to really draw out learnings of what we can do next. Then I would encourage you to obviously check your sales figures, look at your revenue across the year, month by month, and really relay that back to the activities that you are undertaking. So again, if you ran promotions, it's really important that you go and see how the revenue tracked in those months or in those weeks and what that means for the future. It's also really important, just to look at those numbers and think about the whole picture. Is it seasonality again, or is it activities that you were doing that affected it? Similarly, looking at your leads, if that's relevant for your business, having a look at your lead volume, how that changed over time, what you were doing to influence it changing. Looking at your social numbers. So, even if you just have a look at, this December versus last December, are your followers up? Is your engagement up? Are your clicks to website up? Interactions, thinking about which social media channels are most important to you, and then having a look at how you've been tracking on those channels. And obviously, looking at that data in relation to the activities that you've done as well. Then looking at your email marketing. So, how's your list growth been? Have you grown your list this year? Is that something you focused on? And if so, what triggers or what levers did you pull that really affected that? And, how can you do more of that in the new year? What about your open rate? Are people opening your email? Are they clicking your email? If you have a sales-driven email strategy, are they converting on your email? So, again, just having a little look. I guess I don't want this to be an overwhelming data deep dive. If that's your flavor, then absolutely, I'm here for it. But if not, it's really just having a look at the numbers and looking at what stands out, looking at what's an anomaly, either a high anomaly or a low anomaly, and what that might mean. And, reviewing all of these data areas that I've talked about, really in regards to promotions, if you've run them. So if you are you have a bit of a calendar and you have campaigns that you're running at different times, you want to then go back and really track the success of those campaigns and track what the inputs were to those campaigns. Did you run an ads campaign, to support that sale? Did you do emails? Did you cold call? Whatever it was, we want to think about that promotion and then look at the data to analyze it and be able to look over a year and say, if you're an e-com, I did Afterpay Day in April and it generated this, and this was my offer, and these are the tactics I used. I used social ads and I used email campaigns, and then I ran Black Friday, and again, these are the results. This was the offer. And then look and say, well, which one did better? Why? What did I do differently? Okay, I did a store-wide sale in April and that went huge, whereas I did a selected items only for Black Friday and I can see I didn't have as much traction. So next year when I go to plan my calendar, I'm going to think about that and work out what my strategy is going to be based on my goals. The next area I want you to focus on is reflecting. And this is looking at non-hard metrics. I listened to a really great webinar the other day about the digital marketing landscape. And as a fellow agency owner from Rocket Agency, I had a really fantastic point about, as much as we love metrics, and I do, we are sort of backing ourselves into a corner over them because not everything can be measured. And when we, only hang our hat against the hard data that we can present, we're really discounting the non-tangibles. And then, this really comes back to brand building and awareness and the real top of funnel activity that we do that we often can't measure. There's also, impact of marketing activity that's not, last click. So I might see that social media ad, I might not click it. And then I might walk past a store and see that product and I might pick it up and buy it because I remember the ad. We can't attribute that back to our campaign. I might, I might Google something, get the result, and then I might talk to my partner, go on their computer, and then directly search it, bring it up and purchase it then. So, we have these multi-step parts or journeys and not all of it is trackable. So it's really important when you're, looking at that data that you try to reflect on what you can't measure. So, this is thinking about impact overall. And I know, it can be a cliche, but it's also gut feel. So, what went well? What went well this year? When did I feel like my marketing was really going well for me? Was I working with someone in particular? Did I have a particular discipline in place? Really looking at, when were my DMs lighting up? When was our website contact form going off? When were our sales really peaking? What was happening? I think it's really also important to go, what was hard? What did I not enjoy doing? As a business owner, we do have the ability to paint our own future. And if something is hard and you don't enjoy doing it, maybe there's a different strategy. maybe you can outsource it and not have to ever look at it again. But I think it's important to reflect on what was hard. Maybe what was hard was market dynamics, and you can have a think about what's going to happen next year and how you're going to, pivot your strategy to adapt to that as well. What changed? What changed this year versus last year? And that, again, it can be a positive change, it can be a negative change, but thinking about what changed. And what opportunities did you miss? Were there certain events, certain days, certain promotional calendar events that you didn't jump on? And are there things that you think that next year in 2024, you really want to make sure that you're on top of? Those opportunities that you missed this year are still opportunities for next year. So it's really important to reflect on those non-hard metrics. Write yourself some notes, write some reflections, and bring that into your 2024 planning. The next one's a big one. It's rest. And to be honest, it's doing what as business owners we sometimes struggle to do, and that's just taking some time away from your business. I find I have amazing ideas for my business when I go and have a massage, or when I'm swimming, or, doing things that aren't in the business, doing things where actually my mind is switched off from the problem, I find is when I have so much new energy flow in. And rest is so important. As business owners, we're working on our businesses, we're working in our businesses, we're juggling our lives alongside that. And it's really important to take that pressure off yourself and really, have that time away. Let ideas flow in, embrace doing nothing. Embrace that sitting down with a pen and paper is not the most effective way to generate ideas, and, allowing yourself time for ideation before creation, and not putting pressure on yourself to, get that plan written, to make that 2024, timetable and goals and all those things, but actually to start with rest, finding inspiration, doing things for pleasure. I know we all read a lot of business books, and we read a lot of and we listen to a lot of podcasts and for business. And that's great. And, I think that's a great thing to do over the break as well. But also find the content that you enjoy just for pleasure. Read a book that isn't about self-development or business development. Listen to a podcast that isn't about those things. Allow your mind to have some time away from it. Really, really switch off. And if you can have a social media break, have a social media break. I definitely roll back all of our socials over Christmas. And just, have a real maintenance mode, because I just think it's a good time. It's just a good time to detox from all the content that we consume all the time and all the pressure that we put on ourselves. And that's coming to the last point of regroup. Look at all that data, reflect, rest, and then in 2024, come back and regroup. And I'm going to come back in 2024 with a, podcast to kick off the year about setting up your marketing for a successful kickoff. And I think if you can go through some of these steps before then, you'll be in a really great place to regroup and really kick off your 2024 strongly. I have some podcast episodes from last January, about how to kick off your year. And by all means, if you are in action mode right now, go and listen to those. But otherwise, I look forward to talking to you again in 2024 and, picking up and really planning for an effective new year and doing that off the back of reviewing, reflecting, and resting. So thank you so much for all your support this year. As I said, I love doing this podcast. I love the feedback I get. And if you have any particular questions or thoughts for the new year, please get in touch. Hey, thanks for listening to another episode. If you don't want to miss one, make sure you subscribe to the show in your podcast app. And if you love it, be sure to share it with friends and colleagues who you think could benefit from increasing their digital marketing confidence. Want more? Head to maryanneamies.com to find out how you can work with me directly, to reach out to have me speak at your event, or to grab yourself some free resources.